Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, Abla, yo luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fay.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bësal mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.
It's Thursday, the 4th of September, 2025. You're listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Next on the show, we have somebody who knows what his obligations to the Gambia Revenue Authority are. Mr. Saul Frazer of Global Properties, proud partners of Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Welcome back.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much for having me.
Everybody is talking about the presidential race that we are all looking forward to in 2026, but there's a presidential race that will climax later this week. Later this week, it's tomorrow. In just about 24 hours, and that is the race for the presidency of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GCCI, in which you are one of only two candidates.
Indeed.
Why do you want to be president of GCCI?
Uncle Peter, thank you very much, and I'm saying good morning to all your listeners out there. Now, the answer is simple, really. Having been a business entrepreneur for over 18 years, setting up and creating one of the biggest real estate companies in the country, I have had great success. And through that success, I was able to help a lot of businesses start up and strive. Now, imagine this was just under the platform of Global Properties. If I now become the president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce, which has a bigger platform, the question is just how many more I'll be able to assist to strive as business entities or entrepreneurs.
We'll push you a bit more on that. Your association with the GCCI is not starting now with your bid for the presidency. You were, I believe, a board member at some stage, if not still a board member?
Well, I'm still a board member officially until tomorrow, 4 p.m. But the story with GCCI started way before that. When I started my business and opened my company, I joined the chamber because I needed a place where I could network and find like-minded people. And as a result, I joined the first trade fair where I secured a sale that gave me an exclusivity to a project. And basically, there was never been a way back. GCCI also, I won an award as the Entrepreneur of the Year, which gave me the opportunity to receive my award in front of the president. And as a result of that, I was given my first opportunity to travel abroad on an international business transaction. So imagine a young entrepreneur having that exposure, what it instilled in me, the belief, the confidence, really took me to a different level and motivated me to become who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as a board member as well, I had the opportunity to see things from obviously top and below. So it has been a very good relationship between my company and GCCI.
And by wanting to progress from board member to president, you definitely see a lot of good in this institution called Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Because most of the time, what you hear from the business community is lanay njëriñi GCCI whenever there is a crisis, whether it's the introduction of a new tax on the business community or issues with labor.
Indeed. One of the biggest criticism of GCCI is that they're more of a responder rather than creating policies and so on. And first of all, let me just thank the current president, Idi Masjob, who has done an amazing job in transforming and also coming up with a lot of policies that has been put in place to make the chamber a better place. But I believe one of the areas that I want to follow up with him would be to engage the public more, engage the businesses more, find out what are the core problems, so we can take this and take it to the government rather than waiting for the government to come to us with certain policies. So we intend to engage the community a lot more and set up desks where we can get issues that we can deal with, collect a lot of data, because with the help of that data, we are now able to start policy forming and making sure that it reaches to the right people.
Okay, and apart from that, what else does,
The chamber. Okay. Well, a lot of people, the chamber basically provides a lot of resources that most members are not aware of. Their research desk, like if you want certain information, you can go there and get this particular information about a particular sector or a business or a product being imported and whatnot. But what we want to do is to set up many more desks, desk for entrepreneurs, desk for startup, desk for agriculture, so that information is readily available. And recently, during the tour, visiting some of the offices, one of the criticisms that we had was that the business community doesn't actually know each other. So there's been lack of networking opportunities where people can meet just probably over coffee and just to share ideas and challenges and what is going on. So these are the things that I really think once they're put in place, it will definitely make a difference in the business community.
And what else? Because you butted in just as I was about to ask, what new ideas will your presidency bring to the GCCI? I know people would say, why would I, say what my policies are when my opponent isn't saying what his policies are?
No, but I have a 5-pillar agenda, which I would like to take you through. And I think one of them is focusing on small and medium enterprises. It is said that
they call them the engine of the economy.
Exactly, engine of the economy. And believe you or not, when I was reading the statistics, it shows us 90% of businesses all over the world is basically small SMEs. Then you have a big chunk of 50% of all the employees in the world is also through these SMEs. So they 50%. Create... Exactly. So it's a massive role that they play in our society. And I believe that once they are looked after and promoted, then we will have a stronger economy, for example, in the Gambia. So we're going to have a desk for them where we will get them to be lending ready, because one of their biggest challenges is access to finance. We intend to create training programs, resources to get them in a stage whereby by the time they approach banks, the chances of them being rejected is lower than what they currently have.
It's very interesting when you say to get them lending ready. In other words, right now, all SMEs complain about access to finance.
Absolutely.
You're suggesting that the problem is not actually, getting the finances, is the trust that, these financing institutions don't have, that when they give you the finances, you will, use them positively.
Absolutely. This is one of the biggest hinder to accessing finance, because a lot of them don't understand how financing works. I'll take myself as an example. When I was starting my business 18 years ago, to just trying to get a funding for $50,000 was a big challenge. And mind you, I was an employee of a bank, and when I approached that particular bank, they still rejected me despite the fact that they knew who I was, But then I took a step back, regrouped, obviously looked at the necessary things that was needed to secure this financing. And at the end, I was able to secure not only 50,000, but 500,000.
Ah, well done.
So it plays a big role to have the training and the resources, and the expertise to be able to have a bigger chance of being accepted for finance rather than not.
Okay, so one for you is building up the capacity of SMEs.
Indeed. The second thing is definitely the investment and trade. Now, we all have this love for our country, and no matter how much we try, we always have to find a way to attract more investment into the country to make it more conducive. Mm-hmm. And I believe that by working with the government, looking at certain tax reform, looking at ways to simplify the process of registering your business and starting trade in the country, can enhance the current ratio that we're doing in terms of attracting investments. we're losing a lot of investment to our neighboring countries simply because we're dragging our feet and things are not going the way they should. What we intend to do is look at how to simplify the process, get it easy to set up your business and run within probably 24 or 48 hours.
Fantastic. Third pillar?
Third pillar is obviously the favorite of so many people, which is looking at tax reforms. We believe that the tax system can be simplified as well. I believe in streamlining and making things as easy as possible, so it's not a headache to the person who's looking for it, but rather than the people that are processing it. Now, if you have a container coming in, you have to go different steps to clear your container. Why should that be? Why can't you just go to a one-stop shop, do your payment, and let the authorities see how to distribute those income through themselves? Similar to the issue that the manufacturers are facing. There was a time a colleague of mine did a presentation during the National Business Council, and where he showed that the manufacturers go through tax paying almost close to 20 times in different aspects of the production. Why can't that be simplified as well? So we just believe that things can be simplified and made streamlined in a way that taxes are paid in a simplified manner, and then you can move forward.
So manufacturing has, if you like, a 20-tier tax structure.
Indeed.
Goodness me.
Indeed. You know,
and
perhaps
we in radio are complaining about what, 2, 3?
Exactly. Perhaps at the later stage, you know, I'll bring our manufacturing guy to share more light on this. But these are some of the challenges that we really are going to be tackling.
So tax reforms.
Now, tax reforms, exactly. Now, the fourth one is youth and women entrepreneurs. Now, we all know these are the backbone of our society, and if we support them to become stronger, that means we're supporting a stronger Gambia. Again, the challenge for most of these people are access to collateral so they can get financing. We believe that once we approach the government with certain aspects of what we want to do, we can create an alternative way of securing financing, perhaps through securities reform, making sure that banks will consider not only immovable object, but could be tied to machineries and, you know, the goods that people are employing. So we really want to make sure that we create access to finance, because that is key
for young people and women.
For young people, especially women as well. Most of them don't have land or properties to put down as collateral. So we want to look at alternative way of making them, you know, lending ready as well.
I'm sure young people hearing this might stem the outflow of young people to, you know, seeking greener pastures elsewhere.
Absolutely. That's the whole point. And then the last but not least is the digitalization and modernization. Now, during these elections, a lot of people are going to the chambers and renewing their memberships. But it's also another challenge, because one has to go to the bank, and then from the bank go to the chamber, and then back and forth. You know, so for me, why can't you just renew from the comfort of your home or from your phone or your laptop, where everything is just digitalized? You go online, renew, click a button, make a payment, and then move forward. The same thing with business registrations. Why should you have to go to the chamber, GRA, and all these other places? Why can't you just register online? I think with the way the world is moving now, technology is at an advanced stage where people can do things with ease and time. And we don't want to be left behind. So we want to make sure that we really capitalize on that and create an amazing app. So even like the trade fair and all the other aspects of GCCI can benefit from it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, all this will need the support, the cooperation of the government, because the chamber alone cannot have, the support it wants, for instance, for SMEs, for tax reforms, access to loans for young people, women especially, and all of that. So what's the relationship like between the GCCI and government? How, as a member of the board, how has the chamber worked with government over the years?
It has worked amazingly well during my tenure there.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple of National Business Council meetings. One was chaired by the Vice President, and the other one was chaired by the President, mm-hmm. where the business community met with them and shared their concerns and ideas, which has been taken on board as well. So we intend to continue with the same path, probably with more frequent meeting, and also setting up a task force to follow up Because most of the time you sit in these high-level meetings and you talk about a lot of great ideas, and then usually that's the end of it. But what we want to do additionally to set up a task force that follow-ups and make sure that these suggestions are really put into place.
Mm-hmm. And what about when the president, travels to countries like China, Turkey, where we know that there's a lot of, Gambian business interest. We import a lot from these countries. Very often when, for instance, the President of the United States goes to China, he takes with him, several, business leaders. Does that happen in the case of, maybe Barrow going to Turkey or going to China or any of the countries from where we, import a lot?
We have seen that happening, but not to the extent that we want it to happen. Rather than having few business men and women, we want to have a group of businessmen and women. Because wherever the president goes, we know it creates a lot of opportunity to also network and bringing much needed investment into the country. So it's one of the things on our agenda actually to talk to the president to see how we can encourage him to accompany so that the business community can also feel their presence in these high-level meetings and travels that he makes.
All right. And how will a GCCI, with the ideas of a Saul Frazer as president, with his team, help A, the Gambia, and B, the businessmen and women that the institution represents?
Anywhere you go, it says that, the private sector is the engine of growth. But we really want to put that into practice. Now, a stronger business community means a stronger Gambia, without a doubt. So that's where Gambia is going to see itself.
It means what? More employment, more taxes to the government?
More taxes to the government so we can do more infrastructural development and development as a whole. And also a higher way of living as well, living standards of our people. So I think this is something that everybody's looking forward to, considering we're complaining that things are getting more expensive. Now, sorry, I forgot the second layer of the
business community.
The business community.
A West Coast Radio as member of the chamber, for instance.
Indeed. They will definitely the voices are going to be louder. One of the intentions that we have is to bring them together, all of them, and make the chamber much stronger. Now, you can only make a difference once you're inside, by not being a member and making a lot of noise. I wouldn't say you won't be heard, but if you become a member, your voice is much more clear and louder, and then we can form these policies and then not attack the government, but at least approach the government to get them to listen to us.
Okay. So the actual election is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. It's despite the fact that tomorrow is a holiday.
It's a public holiday.
It's a public holiday. But when we start this date, we didn't think that it was going to be a holiday. But after we realized it was a holiday, we tried to change it to next Friday. But we couldn't agree within the board. So the date tomorrow is going to stand.
What was the cause of the division? I suppose most of you are meant to be observing the holiday. You'd have spent the previous night at Gamos, huh?
See, this was the thinking, and after approaching a lot of the members that have voting rights, they also shared the same concern. We brought that matter to the board, but at the moment there's a split board because the other candidate is also part of the board, and he has some of the board members on their side. For some reason, they feel that we should push ahead and get this over with, and we're equally ready. But it's just a shame that some members are going to be missing because they're not in the country. They went to Senegal.
How will that impact the final outcome then?
It's not ideal because there's a chance that we might not hear from everyone who has a voting right. But again, we are confident in the campaign that we've run and believe that the people that are going to come to cast their votes will definitely favor our group of board members.
And speaking of campaigns, what kind of campaign have you been running?
Oh, Peter, you have no idea. So one of the things that has been really great is a lot of people that I supported in the past came out and really gave back, from the artists, from the young entrepreneurs, from family members, from friends. no one was really left behind. I mean, they came out in numbers and they've really showed their support and appreciation of what I've been doing over the last 18 years. And for me, that is really great to see. And I thank them wholeheartedly, really, for all the effort and everything that they've done so far.
And what do you think of your opponent's campaign? Tough one?
I actually didn't pay attention to what they were doing, because I really believe in myself and I believe in my team and the strategies that we've put in place. So our focus has always been on our strength and how we can make the chamber a better chamber without focusing too much on what the others are doing.
So all the time your campaigns have been going on, people hardly noticed. Is that a lesson for our politicians? Because we haven't even got into the campaign yet, and already we are all very worried, huh?
Well, that's a different whole ball game, totally.
But we all wish that campaigning was as civilized as your campaign with your opponent.
Indeed.
Because
but
there has apparently been no name calling and all mudslinging and all of that.
No, I mean, okay, there has been, but not to the extent of, perhaps the interests are different. I mean, running for presidency for a whole country is a totally different ball game than running for presidency for GCCI. Yes, we've had obviously unpleasant things, but these are things that comes with it. I mean, you cannot put yourself in the public eye and not be ready for criticism. But I humbly took those criticism on board and try to see how to work on them if needed, basically.
Fantastic. Well, in the remaining 5 minutes, let's just focus on global properties a bit, because when you tell your story and all of that, maybe people will begin to associate that, well, if he could do this for global properties, which is now, as you say, a behemoth, maybe he's the right man for the chamber. And how long is the term? 4 years?
3 years.
3 years.
It's
okay.
Every 3 years. Yes.
Every 3 years. And
yes.
how many terms can? Do you have term limits, by the way?
Oh yes, we do. We do.
And what's the maximum? 2?
One of the policies that ED, the current president or the outgoing president, has come up with is to make sure that one can only serve 2 terms per seat. So, for example, if you are if you're representing the youth group, for example, you can only sit there 2 terms. Then after that, you have to either leave or you can move to another position, which I think is great because it gives other people the opportunity to also come and showcase what they can do. In terms of global properties, yes, it's been an amazing journey, considering that I started this business with just $75,000, which is about $1,000 today. Mm-hmm. And made it to a multi-million-dollar project.
Oh, wow.
It just shows...
The tax man is coming after you.
Yes, no problem. We have good records with them, so I'm not afraid. But it just basically shows resilience, because we really made stride during Jammy time, and now we're basically exploring or exploding during Barrow time. So we've had the experience of starting from nothing to growing it, going up and down. That experience is what I'm going to bring along as the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Not only that, but also the network that I've able to establish, in the region, looking at ECOWAS and looking at all the other places that I've been to and fostered business relationship with. So the Chamber is definitely up for a very good candidate, and once in place, then we'll definitely see a difference. Mm-hmm. With global properties, the story has been told so many times. We are now in Gambia, Ghana, and Senegal, and we're looking to establish in Sierra Leone very soon, and also Guinea-Bissau. The projects are ongoing, and they're just selling out successfully. If you look at Lakeview, for example, which we started sometime last year, we've sold 90% of it already. Oh. We are now building one of the tallest buildings in the Gambia, which is going to be our head office. We've ordered everything that needs to go in, so we're just waiting for the containers to arrive, so we start fixing. Hopefully we'll open it in December, and the president has already promised that he will be the one to open the building for us.
It's an impressive building already, and you're saying it's not done yet.
No, it's basically 30% done, because there's so much more to come. But hopefully from now till December you'll see a big difference. and we're equally exciting. Luckily, I have an able general manager now who's taking care of things and just taking it to another level, and is giving me more time.
And it shows the trust that you have in young people, because she's very young, the general manager.
She's very young and female for that matter. So that shows how I trust young people, and also women entrepreneurs as well. But definitely anyone who knows her knows that the company is in probably better hands than they were. So I have no doubt. I have no doubt that she will do amazing.
And just finally, maybe one final pitch for tomorrow, 4 p.m.?
Yes, I am Saul Frazer, and I'm ready to serve the business community. So for that matter, I solicit your vote.
By the way, who can vote?
Only members of Gambia Chamber of Commerce can vote. But it's not too late. If you're a member and you haven't renewed, you can still go ahead and renew today, and that will give you the right to vote at tomorrow's election. So tomorrow will be at the Kairaba Conference Center at 4 p.m. The AGM starts, and immediately after the AGM, the election starts.
And how confident is Saul Fraser that at the end of the casting of ballots, when we hear "whew," the name that will follow would be Saul?
So, judging from everyone that we've met, Peter, we haven't met anyone that has torn us down or have said anything negative about the possibility of becoming president. So if I'm going to base on that, I'm super, super confident. But there's one thing to say you're going to support me when you are not there. But there's one thing to actually come to the voting hall and cast your vote. So if I see everybody that say they're going to support me come there, then I'll be smiling from 4 p.m. to whenever. So
let's talk about the elephant in the room. Who are you competing against?
His name is Njundu Fati. He's currently the treasurer for the board at GCCI.
Okay. So thanks very much for coming this morning, and good luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
That's Saul Fraser, proprietor of Global Property.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axila James Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Busel mu fay.
What?
Busel mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Busel mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.